Hey y'all, today I'm going to be sharing my very first Temu haul. It's a very small one. It's got craft supplies, a few knickknacks, and we're also going to be doing a couple of DIYs, testing out some of their craft supplies. So let's get started. All right, let's see what all I got in this small haul. I could not resist this little gnome. I love gnomes, and it says home is where the dogs are. It was only $4.98, and he is a good size. I was trying to show the measurements, but it didn't show up really well. He's heavy, and he's in this like knit material. So y'all know Rottweilers are my breed, and this sign, it came a little bent up and damaged, but it measures 12 inches by about, what is that? Um, about 8 inches. 7 inches. It's a good size. Now, this I'm going to hang out in my little flower pot. They had several different breeds, and I believe they also had cats. It just depends on which shop you look for on Temu, because there are dozens and dozens of shops that have these kind of garden flags. This is a heavy flag. I was really surprised, and I only paid like, I think, $2.99 for it. It measures 17 inches tall and 12 inches wide. I was very impressed with this flag, and it is double-sided. Very impressed with that. Love it, and I love the expression on his face. It's really nice artwork. Okay, for the first craft item, I paid $5.27 for this little mini iron. And it comes with its own power cord, and it fits basically the palm of your hand. And I got this because I wanted to try the decoupage technique, where you use an iron and the parchment paper on napkins, and it's not supposed to wrinkle. So that's why I got that. I also got some flat beads. I got the 20 millimeter size and a 12 millimeter size. There's 100 in each package. And I also picked up a brayer for $4.48. I did not have one. Then I went searching for silkscreen transfers, which you all know, silkscreen transfers is what chalk couture is. I used to be a designer with the company. I no longer am, but I wanted to try these out to see how they would measure up. And this sheet here has two designs on it. I believe they were $4 and change per sheet. Now, there are lots of stores on Temu that offer silk screen transfers, and they have Christmas ones and fall ones and just bunches of those. I tried out their little chalk paste. I was disappointed in the size. They were $2.48 for each little tube. I searched Temu for the chalk paste in jars and could not find it. Let's try out these silk screen transfers. I'm going to use some black chalk paste, chalk paint, white chalk paste, that transfer, and a smaller tag sign, and I already had the squeegee. So I took it out of the package, and I noticed the back was pretty sticky. So in order to keep the transfer from pulling up my black paint, I'm using my fuzzing cloth from Chalk Couture to get off some of the sticky. If you don't have one of those, use a lint-free towel or even your shirt. And I'm trying to position it on there where I want it, trying to center it as best I can. And as you'll see, I didn't get it where I wanted it the first time after smoothing it down and everything. I wanted it a little lower. And I was pleasantly surprised that when I pulled it up to reposition it, it didn't pull off any of my paint. Now, the material that the transfer is made out of is not as thick as what Chalk Couture has, but it was decent, and I was impressed with it. So here I go, just spreading this down, getting out any air bubbles or wrinkles. And if you have never downloaded the Temu app before, my link and a special discount code will be in the description box. So download the Temu app, go to Temu, log in, and then put in my discount code, and you will get some goodies. This is why I don't like the chalk paste in a tube. Is I just kind of squirted it on there, whereas if it was in a jar, it's easily, you can kind of get out what you want. And plus, when you are squeegeeing off the excess chalk paste, you have no way to put it back in that tube. So what you end up with on the end of your squeegee is basically kind of wasted, which I I didn't like that. So I would strongly suggest getting some chalk paste from either Chalk Couture. I've heard people talk about it on Amazon. Um, they say Amazon has some pretty decent paste, but actually the best is Chalk Couture, and it will last literally forever. So I put my paste down just using a very light motion, no pressure, because if you put too much pressure, you will get bleed through. And see all that I have on the end of my squeegee? I have nowhere to put it. When you go to pull it up, you pull up slowly in an upward motion, and it reveals this beautiful design. I was so happy with this. So happy. And this is such a cute saying. It gets a big thumbs up from me. For the price and what it is, it did what it was supposed to do. Now on the side there, that's user error. When I was taking the paste off, I got a little too close to the edge, but I just wiped it off and there it was. So let's check out the mini iron for doing Mod Podge. So I'm going to use my mini iron there, a box sign from the Dollar Tree, some Mod Podge, some white acrylic paint, and these cheap napkins I picked up from Dollar General because I figure if I messed it up, I didn't have a lot of money wasted. I painted the backing of the sign with 2 coats of the white acrylic paint. And here I go applying a layer of Mod Podge, just like I've seen other crafters do in many videos. And I don't know if I got too much, if I didn't get enough. I don't know. But I put the Mod Podge on there and let it completely dry. That's what you're supposed to do, is put the Mod Podge on your surface, let it dry completely, which I did, and you cut out your design that you want. Make sure you've only got it down to 1 ply, and these are thin, cheap napkins. It was 1 ply. So my Mod Podge is dry. I'm placing my napkin down on the surface, getting it where I want it. And then the idea is you take your parchment paper, you lay it on top of your design, and then you take the iron and it gets hot, y'all. That little iron throws off some heat. I was impressed with it. So you put down your parchment paper on top of the design, and then you take the iron and you go over it, and this reactivates the Mod Podge. And it's supposed to, prevent wrinkles or keep you from wrinkling it, however that's supposed to go. If anybody has got Mod Podge tips for napkins, please let me know. This was my very first time ever trying to Mod Podge a napkin. So I'm going over it. I'm not real sure if I was supposed to leave it in one spot for a little while or go over the whole thing. I'm not sure if what I did wrong happened in this step or the next step. If y'all have any tips, let me know. I did want to mention for this Mod Podge hack, you can use a regular household iron as long as it doesn't have the steam function thingy on it. This little iron would be perfect in any craft space. I mean, for not only doing Mod Podge, but for doing iron on patches, appliques. I know there's some kind of beadwork. Now, at first, there were a couple little wrinkles after I ironed it, at like the top and the bottom, nothing major. Now, then after that, you're supposed to put on another layer of Mod Podge. And I think maybe this is where I made my mistake, because look how I piled it on in the center where the orange pumpkin is. That's the area where I had the biggest wrinkle problem. And I also had a few down at the bottom too. Like I said, this was my very first time ever Mod Podging a napkin, and I really wanted to try this method. So again, I am open to tips. Y'all comment down below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, this is something I would really like to master, if there is such a thing. And I know people have done it, but right there where that orange pumpkin is, I had a big blob, but I worked it out. I put on a bless sign from Hobby Lobby. There's that cute little gnome. You guys, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Download the Temu app and use my promo code. And until next time, y'all go get your craft on. Bye.